Wow, awesome. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna end a little early, way before 12, and we're actually gonna have live play, meaning we're gonna all just make calls. I have my phone charging over there. Certain conversations I'll play out loud, and it'll be recorded and all that fun stuff. So we're gonna go right into like making calls to our database, maybe to referrals, lead follow-up, all those fun things. And for those online, if you guys have questions, just raise your hand, drop it in the chat. We'll try and keep an eye out. Feel free to, if you're in the classroom, to say, oh, can you do a deeper dive on A, B, C, D, whatever it is, we're here to grow. And here's the truth. When we get some of the stuff out of the way, you guys in Zoom are watching the whole thing. Here's the truth. If it has been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how that can be possible in your world. And that's from Gary Keller, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, right? Any epiphanies, anything that resonates with you guys here live or on Zoom?
I would change that to be if it has been done in another market, it can be done better.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Dang, I like that.
I like stealing from people and improving it.
Wow.
A different spin.
That's awesome. Because you know what? We always hear, oh, well, it's Atlanta. Well, of course they'll sell, 400 units a year per team. Well, why can't we do that here in LA? Why can't we create such a listing movement in the San Fernando Valley, in Calabasas, in Westlake, all the places that we represent?
Find out what they're doing and it's just one up it.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we maximize Prop 19 to someone's advantage, right? How do we network with other realtors so that we can bring those resources to those clients and those options to those clients? I remember someone telling me, if you won the San Fernando Valley, like if you were 3% of the market, you would be a worldwide leader in real estate. 3%, you would dominate like the entire industry just by never leaving this dust bowl, this valley.
Is that David
Right.
Salomon right now?
Yeah, Dave,
I see
well,
him everywhere.
yeah, he's all over the West. He's now got his stuff here in Calabasas, and he's super cool. Like if you ever met him, he's an awesome dude.
I spoke to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's kind. He actually answers his phone. He takes his time with buyer agents. I'm like, dude, you're awesome. He's a straightforward shooter. But the point is like taking those elements that we learned from other places, and this is why taking the time to go to mega camp or investing in networking outside of our location helps a lot. Because sometimes by taking a step back, you kind of see the whole battlefield, and stuff that like you said works in Juneau, Alaska, could potentially just dominate here with the right.
A little tweak.
Absolutely.
California twist.
Yeah, because then you're going to see some of the market stuff that we go into here. Know your market, knowing and connecting with your market is all about research and preparation. And I wanted to hit something on this real quick. Part of our real estate day, I know we talk about leads, lead generation, lead follow-up, appointments, practice, and negotiating contracts or agreements. And a big portion of the appointment is the prep. Right? It's preparing on the phone call when you're doing the pre-qualifying call. So I call Jessica. Jessica says, hey, my husband and I really are we're really thinking about selling our home. Awesome. Hey, do you mind if I give you a call such and such time, go over some pre-qualifying questions just so we get all of our ducks in a row? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Awesome. So put a pin in that conversation. I might follow up later in the afternoon around 2 o'clock. That I'll be in the office and I'll be taking down, or wherever I'm sitting, taking down all these notes about, hey, how soon do you want to move? Where are you thinking to move into? Basically the pre-listing packet. And that all goes into preparation of knowing what the client's expectations are, what they want, and then knowing the market at hand so we can match it up with their goals or even exceed their goals. Right? You ever have the client who's like, well, Philip, man, if I can just make 200,000 net, I'm thrilled. And then you find out, holy cow, you're gonna have a tax problem because you're gonna make 800,000 or whatever it is, which is always fun to have that conversation. The three types of real estate markets are the buyer's market, more than 7 months of inventory, balanced market from 5 to 7 months of inventory, seller's market, less than 5 months of inventory. Show of hands, who says we're in a buyer's market? Show of hands, who says we're in a seller's market?
What do we have, 2 weeks?
Yes.
2 weeks of
I'm raising my
inventory.
hand.
Interest rates are what?
5-ish.
5-ish, going to 6 maybe, you know, when it's all said and done. And we still have less than 5 months of inventory.
Philip, can I just go, just share something about the pre-qual call?
Please, definitely.
When I was up in Danville, California, I had a great broker at Alon Pinnell, and she's actually in Hawaii at KW now. So, like, she runs an
Nice.
office there.
Nice.
And she was amazing. She said what she does with her buyers and sellers is she sits with them. And I thought it was cheesy at first. And she says she has them close their eyes. And she says, what are the items in this house that you're buying or sell that it's your dream proposition? Is it a pond? Is it a pool? Is it 3-bed? You know, what is, like, if you could have your dream house, what is it? And it's amazing how people respond to that.
Oh, yeah.
They really do. They think about it, you know what I mean? And just like, oh, you know, I always wanted this. And it's just a really cool experience. And then they feel like you really care about what they're interested in.
That's awesome. And I think as the market shifts, that plays an important role now. I mean, we made the mistake early this year of just getting our clients out there thinking, hey, there's not enough inventory anyway. We just have to get them out. There's only 3 to choose from. But by not diving deep into what the buyer's expectations are, or not their expectations, but what truly resonates with them, we almost wasted a lot of our time getting them out there. Because then we could have been so much easier to say, hey, as a heads up, none of these homes that are like brand new right this moment, and even the ones that have been sitting for a while, are a match for you. Do you want to take this weekend off and focus during the week if something else pops up? Right now, we kind of save time for our showing agents, for myself, whoever's kind of working that file, and their time too, right? In addition to that, as the market changes to a buyer's market, if we are in a position where we do have that type of influx of inventory, as a listing agent, you still want to be a listing agent, but as a listing agent, you have to get really good at fine-tuning what specific items stand out in the house. Does it have a foyer? Does it have an atrium? Does it have a koi pond? How many AC units? All this stuff. Like right now, taking a listing, everyone just does the basic. AC, no fireplace, no pool. There's literally no description. Like, you can't find that house if you were searching specifically for items that it has. It wouldn't pop up, right? When the market changes, listings that will sell will be the ones that have full, like, description. Like, hey, it has a phone booth, it has blah, 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 blah. And then on the buyer agent side, either you're gonna show 80 houses, 100 houses to like write one offer, or you're gonna get so, like Terry Lynn said, very specific on what resonates with them that you can go to MLS, search it, broker caravan tours, find it, be a magnet for it. And hey, I know there's 95 homes to choose from. I boil it down to a top 10. Oh God, this is why we hired you. Thank you. And then off you go and execute. So thank you, Terry Lynn. You opened that one up. Thank you very much. Aside from that, right now, as you know, we're in the seller's market. Inventory, that this is really basic stuff, right? Inventory is the number of properties for sale within a market. And then we can go a deeper dive, and we're gonna save that for our Friday class when we go over MLS. But what is the inventory of your market? I know for Canoga Park, it's like 6 homes. But if you count, you know, manufactured home and vacant land, it's less than 30.
6 SFRs in Canoga Park.
In Canoga Park. Yeah, and 2 of them are like dramatically overpriced with tenants, right? And then there's 3 that, you know, or 4 that will pretty much knife fight for, you know. My neighborhood is Canoga Park. Someone put their home on market for 1.45. I thought, dude, wow, you get that sold, high five, thank you. Right? Like, dude, that'd be great. And sure enough, they put it under pending, call the agent, and Philip, yeah, it's 1.55. So someone offered 100,000 more.
Let's wait for the bond.
Mhm.
Let's wait for the bond.
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe, you know, it's a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom, 2,800 square foot home, similar to ours. I'm like, dude, hope you get it. You know?
I'm sorry for my question, but what is that? What are those initials stand for?
Oh, SFR, single family residence,
Oh, okay,
bomb
sorry.
back on market.
Sorry.
No, we're all learning. It's almost like gang signs and.
Is that way? Is
That's
that way
a-
that's in the MLS? No, it's spelled out, single family.
No, you're right.
No,
It's
it's
just
SFR.
SFR does.
Single family what?
Residence,
Residence. I always think it's.
single family house, yeah, home. There you go.
Okay.
Interest rates and lender regulations, this is where your lending partner Cindy comes into play, and just knowing what's happening. Don't quote exactly, I think it was Louis who said it. Don't quote exactly, or Terry Lynn, don't quote exactly the rate, but it's also a great opportunity to show your value. Like, hey, rates really are kind of driven by your FICO score, among other details. I think it'd be a great move if we get you connected with one of our lending partners, right? And you leave it at that, wait for answer, and then start a group text. The easiest way to kind of see how things are going is start a group text between you, the buyers, and the lending partners. And then that way, hey, take it off screen one-on-one, or just keep it on the group text, and you're all there. Economic factors play an important role. What is the employment and unemployment rate of your market? How many workers are entering or exiting the workforce of your market? What is the growth rate of your community? How has the government made any changes to rules? Now, there's a good one on this one. If you go to RPR, and that's on MLS. If you're with Southland Regional, one of the little value apps is RPR. I forget what RPR stands for, but you can actually see those stats regarding the community when you pull it up.
I saw that website.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they do like an incredible deep dive regardless of the market. So you don't have to be the area expert of Calabasas and live here. You can, like me, live in the West Valley and be the area expert just by diving deep with RPR. And there's another one that we used to use. I don't know if it's still around, but cityfeet.com, CITIFEET.com, or CITYFEET.com. One of those two, but it goes into a deeper stat of vacancies on buildings, unemployment rate. They just take the trends and all that fun stuff.
Another one, Philip, is our free access to NAR, National Association of Realtors. They have a really good stats on there too, if anybody wants to check it out.
Oh, excellent point. CAR.org. If you want the county or the local or the state numbers, another one that we access anyway for zip forms. That's another great way to pull it up. Neighborhood numbers, number of shops. Again, all this stuff that you see here, you can actually pull from RPR when you're doing a listing pre-qual or prep work. Or, look, if you grew up in the area, really truly know the area, the Commons is great, the different convalescent hospitals, all this different stuff that works to your advantage and work it to your advantage there. One good one, if you are in the city of LA, it's called empowerla.org, EMPOWERLA.org. And that's the neighborhood council website for the 96 neighborhood councils that make up Los Angeles. As a hack, you can join any of them, and all of them meet a certain time of the month, and they have what's called a land use committee. Land use committee operates on the basis of all volunteers. And in order to get your plans done, if you're looking at building apartments or whatever, you actually have to go through land use committee for that specific neighborhood before you go back to the city and get your permit or whatever it is. Great way to meet builders, great way to meet people who are investing in the area, great way to meet the neighbors. So if you really want to dive deep, find ways to volunteer in the community you're in. I can speak from that because we used to do the one in Panorama City when we lived there. Now Canoga Park is our place. Any on-pause from that anyone would like to share? Online, here in person?
That's amazing to be involved in like the local stuff. I think that's great. My challenge has been, Philip, is my clients are like all over LA. And so I have to kind of stress that with technology and that we can figure out a market. So I've had clients look in 20 cities or very high profile clients who buy in several cities. So it's also being prepared for that question. Well, if can you sell in Agora and in Oxnard? You know what I mean? Type of thing. Just address that.
And like Bruce Lee's thing, be water. Water takes whatever shape it's poured into a bowl, it takes the shape of a bowl, poured into a cup, it takes the shape of a cup, and a lot of what we do is exactly that. And it's not just, being solid. I mean, yes, be solid at one area. Like for us, we're getting more and more ingrained into the park, but that's because, hey, it's a base we can have a conversation from. Reality is we're selling in Inglewood, we're selling in Lancaster, we're selling in Palmdale, we're selling in Hollywood, we're selling in everywhere, Rancho Cucamonga. But there's always a base to kind of say, hey, I'm here, however, we got your back, right? And it's just being resourceful at that point. Jessica, you were sharing something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's good to know, because we hear a lot of, know your market, but it's good to know like what that entails and what are the other things that you should learn or study in order to know your
Oh, yeah.
market. So I think this is very helpful.
And a step before that is that pre-qual, right? That pre-qualification, a call, just kind of flush out what their goals are. You'll find from certain sellers, they don't care what you know about the market, as long as, hey, A, B, C is achieved, right? Everything else is a bonus to get us the best offer for their home, best negotiation leverage, all those pieces. And we're selling a home in Chino, and we're gonna be the highest sale for the area at 725,000 in this little community. And all I did was go to Google and learn about the preserve and learned about, you know, who built it and why they built it and why the HOAs are so darn high and all this stuff. And it was all off of Wikipedia, right? And so it wasn't like genius work. It was just, I've got a laptop and let's figure this out before we show up.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Here's the other thing they talk about how we're supposed to become so ingrained or involved with forward living. Forward living has 14 offices from Bakersfield. So if you have a question about a particular area, probably best to look and see if there's an office there, and then call the team leader or the assistant team leader or anybody, just like, is there anything I should know? I'm fortunate enough where I have that program list reports. Do you know about that? A lender, because a lender pays for it. So when I do my open house flyers or any flyers,
Oh yeah, I can put all that information
there's
on
this
that.
thing on the back or the second page that's like neighborhood ratings, how close it is to services. It is extremely knowledgeable, or not, I mean, it makes you look knowledgeable, let's put it that way. Because really, you don't know, I don't know what's going on in Pauldale.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're 0.2 miles to the hospital and you're 4.5 miles to the restaurants.
Oh, the school rating is 1.2.
It's good stuff. It's
That's right.
really good stuff, and what makes you look good
Oh yeah, 100%.
without knowing it, but just glancing, you know, like it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
This report is a really nice
I've
resource,
got-
Cindy.
I'll put it as homework for me for our Friday class, I'll bring flyers.
Awesome. Yeah, list reports is pretty incredible. I mean, visually, it looks good.
And it's so
Especially with open house.
easy.
Yeah.
You can make an open house flyer in a second. And
Mhm.
it pulls pictures from the MLS. I'm so blessed to have it. I'm under it from like the old office. And you know, there's somehow lenders paying for it, but you know, it's like.
And you can transfer it, by the way. If another loan office like Cindy has already the file, you can actually swap your sponsor.
Sure.
You have it there?
What are you guys talking about, the list?
List
List
reports.
reports.
Oh, list reports? I don't know about that.
List
Cindy,
reports.
I'll get the whole rundown for you guys for Friday.
Cool.
List reports are actually free for agents, but then if you get a partner with a lender, then you get more stuff in regards to that
Access.
property.
Yeah.
So like what Kurt,
Whatever is
that one over there.
But what's his name said?
What's his name said, so it actually gives you like all the schools and all that stuff, but but you yourself, you guys can just check it out and sign in for free, for the free account to see what it's all about. Then it'll show you if you have a partner as a lender, because you could actually, like let's say if it's Cindy, you could invite Cindy like, hey, check this out. And then they'll talk to Cindy about like how much it is and all that stuff.
And then we can co-brand it too.
Yeah,
That's what
So
that's what happens every time I
right.
pull it up. What's his name's on it?
Yeah.
Augusta
Mike
Financial.
McGinnis.
Oh, I have the same one,
It's
it's
the
the website.
website list.
Mike,
Or what is it?
Mike
through?
Nina.
Mike
Yeah,
Nina,
it's just
Mike
list
Nina,
reports,
yeah,
list
so,
reports.
Yeah.
and it's a
Mike,
super,
whatever.
it's also.
It's all about
It's
Cindy's
also,
Yeah.
it's also like, has great other marketing pieces, like your shareables, you can put up on your
Yeah.
social media, or I just did something that was all the homes in a zip code that had been on the market for 60 days or longer.
Mhm.
And so you could like, it's interactive, it's a post, but then they click on it and it takes them in, and it's good.
That's
It's really
awesome.
good.
That's awesome.
Another app too, if you guys don't have your CRMLS app, and I use this all the time, and you're either, if I'm on my listing appointment or I door knock, and I've told my mentees to do this too. Before you guys start door knocking, so let's say for instance, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. So see our MLS app, you click on it, and then you see this house with an arrow, you guys click on it, and it, wait, I have,
It zooms into where you're at, or?
no, it basically tells you, oh, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
So it tells you all the active within that community, so I'll go look, I don't know why. it's
Without
yellow.
you putting in
Nope,
specific search or
Yep,
anything.
so let's say I'm doing a listing appointment like right here, and I'll be like, you know what, let me just make sure, because I did my MLS like 2 days ago, right? Let me see if something just came up, like really quick, so I'll put like active, and then it will show me like yellow dots are all active, so you like go around like, oh, this one's 700 yards away. Click on that 4-bedroom 3-bath, okay, how much is it? How much was it sold? And then, so you just know, so especially for door knocking is amazing, because I will start, before I start door knocking, I'm like, okay, let me just scan around what's around here. So it will tell me active, and it will tell me
I see
Which
it.
one are you
That's
talking
the
the
about?
one with the house.
The
Yeah,
house
With
that
the
goes like
arrow.
this, so
Oh.
open your camera,
Yep,
that one.
Yeah, to
So
give it
open the
permission.
camera.
Yeah, there you are.
And then it'll tell you, and then when you door knock, and then they'll be like, so how is it today, blah, blah, blah. You know what, you should, great thing you asked, because today something just opened up in your area, like 2 doors down at 7, whatever, right? It's actually on sale for like 800,000.
Here it's showing
Yep.
right here. I see it.
So then they'll be like, really? Yeah, it just opened up, it actually just went on the market today. Like that's without looking into, you know, like if you just run there and you're like, oh, okay, let me just see.
sound so on top of it.
Yeah, and they'll be like, what? That's amazing. I'm like, yeah, and then you know that this one like actually only like a mile away or 800 yards away, it just sold for whatever. And then it gives you all the, you know, how many days it was on the market, because if you forgot to put
And
it
then
on there.
real quickly, so utilizing resources, build your expertise. We have list reports, we have the CRMLS app, we have RPR, we've got
It's
forward
so
living, some big keynotes, and we're gonna circle back on that too. Wow, I just wanna get on the phones. Become,
And then don't forget home box.
well, yeah, we're not even into that, you know, that they have a free version of that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Partner with a lender, the whole nine. Become the real estate expert of choice. You know what, just fill in the blank with everything we spoke about, because you don't have to wait 40 years to become the realtor expert of choice. You actually have all these resources that, again, you're just being resourceful. Learn the market, learn your clientele, listen to individuals. That's something I shared earlier about not just jumping in and answering everything, and keep the headlines in context. Of that, keep the headlines in context. Cindy or anyone would like to share a note on that when you're, how do I say this? You're framing the narrative, right? We're not creating the news, but everyone will see their news feed on Twitter or Facebook or Google, and it says the world's falling apart. But when you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, you look at your activity, you look at what's happening, you're like, no, if anything, you know, home values are going up, which is crazy to say, interest rates are going up. No, there's a different context, a different story to what people are seeing. Do you guys want to share anything on that and how you might flip someone's perspective, or at least help them point and just change their perspective by a centimeter or an inch in order to kind of answer that?
Sometimes if somebody's negative about something, I'm like, yeah, it's so great, like I switch it because, oh, it's gonna be opportunities, like, you know, kind of in that way, and in an honest way, that's my opinion, you know, like that is really my opinion.
Right, I always go back to, well, the reminder from Stephanie, it depends.
Yeah, it
Right.
depends, I really like that, and especially like even for myself, because people know I sold and but I'm like, well, it depends, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm waiting for something else to happen, whatever it is gonna be. You know,
That's huge.
I can give 2 examples. One
Sure.
would be like the market. So everybody's got an opinion on the market. Everybody thinks it's crazy, you know, it's like, well, so just ask, what do you think, how do you feel about market? What are you doing now? Well, I'm not going anywhere. Why not? You know, but I think the why is the big one, because that's part of my second example. I do reverse mortgages, and a lot of times I'll be talking to someone and it seems like it's the perfect solution for them. I'll say, have you thought about a reverse mortgage? Oh, no, I would never want that. Oh, why?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, And then they can never,
Is that negative?
they,
They
they
don't have
can
anything
never
else to
give,
say because
yeah,
that's
they
what
can
they
never
do.
give a lucid answer to
In
that why
fact, it's
question.
actually a phenomenal tool depending on their goals.
Pat and
Right.
Ted.
Depends,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, and then you don't get adversarial if your response is back and you're sticking up, like, you know, the whole COVID vaccinations would have been a good example of
Right.
that, you know, it's like, you don't even wanna answer the question because somebody's gonna go to a diatribe, it's like,
Yeah.
you just say, make them realize, oh, I guess there's really no rationale behind this belief. Why do you ask, or what do you think?
Right,
You know,
yeah,
I think Cindy made a really great point there, instead of being on the defensive
Yeah.
or on the offensive, to like, you know, to have a conversation is to ask, well, why do you think that, or why? That's something that I have a hard time, because I've already come up with an answer or what I wanna say, rather than questioning, diving deeper to find out, why are you asking me this, in all relationships, not just relationship, like, I mean, real estate, why are you saying this? Why, what does that mean to you?
yeah, there's a big one, people will tell me on the buying side, well, homes aren't affordable. And I'll ask them, well, what's affordable to you? And then wait for answer, right? Well, I wanna keep everything under 4,000. Oh, really? Well, what are your expectations? If you're gonna spend no more than $4,000 a month, where would you wanna buy a home? Where would you like to be? Well, I don't know, well, 4,000, yeah, I would like to buy in Northridge, and they kind of fill in their own story. And you kind of circle it back, well, surprise, surprise, you might be closer than you think. Depending on down payment, depending on your rate and FICO score, you're closer to buying in that area than you believe.
And do you want me to send you some listings that are fitting that category?
No,
just
I
for
don't,
fun?
I don't even jump in there, I'd say,
Yeah.
hey, I could actually go for the loan officer partner. Hey, what if we got you a consultation with one, I haven't done, they don't know that I'm doing consultation with them in that 5, 10, 15-minute dialogue. What if I got you connected with a lending partner just to see where you're at? And based on where you're at, hey, maybe we take a look at some homes together. Right? And then they just, before they know, they're like, oh, hey, Philip, we're solid, we're set, we got our down payment. Oh my God, I didn't know we were actually there. Right? Because some people will tell you affordable is $7,000 a month. That's crazy to me. But for some people, that might be like, I don't know, I'd rather pay no more than $7,000 a month. Well, okay, we got an open books, almost every house under $2 million, right? And now it's just a matter of leverage, down payment, FICO score, all the stuff that goes into it, right? So asking extra questions that so affordable to me is, man, we can keep this bad boy under 4, thumbs up. For someone else, their expectations might be way higher. Sometimes it could be way lower, and then we just give them a little reality, like, okay, well, 1,500, how much down payment do you plan on putting down? Well, I have $300,000. Will that help me get my payment down? Depends on the purchase price, depends on your, loan, and again, it's all being curious, all questions, building conversation. Everyone we meet, everyone we know on our cell phone, every contact that comes our way, not lead, but contact, can become a lead if we're asking the right questions.
And do not push your opinions on them. For example, if you think 5% is terribly high, then don't say that. Just
Right.
say that, from what I understand, the rates are getting into the 5s now, and someone's gonna go, "Hmm, okay."
Absolutely.
Remember when they were double digits? All right.
Yeah, my mom bought her first home at like 18, 19%. And she thought, oh,
That was the norm.
It is.
this is what it is. And then when it went to like 10 or 9, she's like, oh my God, they're giving away money. So that's always fine. So keeping things in context, right? Know your lore, that's the language of real estate. And that is a class on its own, okay? And that's the language of real estate here. Know your business, notice changes over time in your personal business. There was a great call this morning for anyone who was on it. It was knowing your financial why with Stephanie. Man, that was money. I wish we could record those meetings, we don't. But that was a good one about knowing your business and knowing your budget, knowing what you need to come in, what goes out, and then basing it. Because it's one thing to say, well, business is down for everybody. Well, not for me, because my nut's very low. So when I make $12,000, that covers everything times however much, right? And that's just an example, but it's just gotta know where you're at is what that point is. Where in your clientele, who are the buyers, who are the sellers? Does the market benefit your clients? Does the market put your client at risk? And again, that is all about the needs analysis. That is, what do they do now? What do they enjoy? What would they alter? Who are the decision makers? We have a solution. And again, sometimes selling is not the answer, and that makes you even a bigger professional in their world than anyone else they'll ever meet. If truly it's a bad idea to do so, right? Listen to individuals. We talked about that very hard. Take a grassroots approach. Learn where your sphere gets information, and be present. The big one about sphere is huge. I mean, you're not going to know what everyone digests, but generally speaking, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's a big one. Right, Twitter. So
LinkedIn.
people digest in different ways. Email blasts, right? But being able to say, hey, you probably Googled a lot of what you're asking me. Well, I have, and this is what I'm finding. Great, tell me more about it. And they just go through, awesome. Write down some notes, right, as you're listening, or type them, and then feedback with more questions to get the appointment, or get deeper in. Maybe you don't need an appointment. Maybe you just need to let them stew for a little bit, and then follow up in a week or two, or a month or two, when they're more ready to receive information.
Louisa, are you becoming a TikToker?
I did.
She's like, I'm ready.
But I mean, do you do it regularly and seriously, or are you like,
Do you dance?
got it?
Yeah, TikTok
You're
with
working on it.
information.
Oh, you don't follow me?
I'm a
Yeah.
TikToker.
You
Would
get
you
the
follow
best-
me?
you get the
No,
I
best-
TikTok.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I
And
know
it's
the correct
digestible.
thing.
How do
Yeah.
you know about TikTok? Like, do you have a handle?
Yeah.
You do?
Then that means you're not TikTok
Yeah,
right
yeah. I have it in my hand, but I.
Dare you.
Link it with your address book.
Yeah.
Hey guys, real quick, we've covered this portion. Keep the headlines in context. Read past the headline. Know your numbers. Ahas? Any ahas from this besides TikTok? Share
That-
handles. Any aha moments, whether you're online or with us here in person?
Are we finishing?
Almost. Yeah, we're gonna get right into
I just
calls.
want to make a point to everyone today
Yep.
that Philip has it really together because he's wearing matching shoes.
Yeah. I didn't leave the house early, so
Oh,
I was
But
out.
I
I
still
could
think
see.
that other one was a fashion statement, and I really liked it. I did
Start a trend.
I did, because they were the same hue, color. They
Uh-huh.
were exactly the same. They just were a little different, which I think is cool. You see a lot of tennis shoes like that. One's white, one's the other.
It's kind of like the 80s, like different earrings.
I liked it.
It's like the fashion, it's the fashion.
Oh man, maybe one day we'll do like Reeboks on one foot, Jordans on the other.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Oh, you got
Especially
it, Caitlin.
Philip.
For sure. We got one more, utilize resources. And I think we covered this in detail earlier with RPR, CRMLS. All this stuff, by the way, is free. Doesn't mean we're paying any more than what we're paying our board in terms of our board membership, what we pay KW and Calabasas. So think of like all of our money going out and holding it accountable to the resources we get back and the clientele we gain because of those resources, right? So when you look at your average $1,000 for MLS, $800 for KW, whatever it comes out to, $75 a month, $500, $2,000 a year for potentially $500,000 worth of business off of just those resources. Facebook is free, ads are $5. If you do that through command, it's $1 to run command or run ads through command. So it's dramatically reduced. All those pieces, you can literally be a multi-millionaire, and if you take away like what we pay the team, like salary and commission wise and all that stuff, like our actual dollar of investment is like less than $1,000 a month, if that. And that's when we do mailers, right, around the micro farm. And if you took away the micro farm mailers, like the cost of postage and everything, it's less than $3,000 a year. HomeBot is less than $20.
25.
There's a ton of stuff that we do for free, right? So there's a lot of things that we just kind of maximize before we even spend any money on it, and we can all do that. Right? So utilize your resources. They should add the word wisely there. You have the KW apps. I use Command. That's something I'm going to be jumping on shortly. And I don't care what you guys use. I'm not here to kind of throw KW in your face. Just use whatever you use. It just use it to the best that you can use it. Right? There's so much stuff on Command that I'm not even the expert in. That's probably more of a Louisa thing, or maybe an outside person like Andrew, or Andrew's in-house, or my guy Josh, who's our VA. But truth be told, I only use Command just to track my pipeline for buyer and for buyers and sellers, and a reminder for me to make the calls to people.
You don't use opportunities?
That's opportunities, that's a pipeline.
Oh.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I'm using language.
We have to use opportunities, if you want to get paid.
Right.
Right, everything's
Well,
through
he's a
that, right?
transaction coordinator, they.
Yeah, our TC and DA run it,
Right.
so just makes my life a little easier. But in terms of that, we run ads through Command. And when I actually looked at leaving Keller Williams a few years back in the middle of the pandemic, well, shit, I'm working from home. I'm not going to the office. Let me just get my broker's license and do this on my own. Well, when I went to look for a comparable database, it was actually KV Core that KW Command models from. And KV Core, just to get the pipeline, just to get the basics that I was already using, was $1,500 a month as an independent. So it was like, this is double done. If I drop this and pursue that, I'll pay at the time a $22,000 cap and a $3,000 royalty all day, knowing that this alone is huge, right? So, and obviously the cap's lower here and all that fun stuff, but get the KW app now, and I'm a center. I have a KW app. I don't use it all too well, but I do have clients. So my clients will find me, or they go onto Command, or not Command, but they'll get the email invitation, they access it, and now I can play Big Brother and seeing what they're seeing, right? So aside from HomeBot, the clients or the contacts who dive deep in this, their information is being captured. And when they share the app, I get a notification that, oh, hey, you have a new contact on your Command, because they signed up for the app. In order to sign up for the app, they automatically get me as their realtor. They have to input a cell number and an email to make it valid, and then they're in. And this is me, I don't even use this personally. I use CRMLS.
It's cool if they use it, it's super cool. if
Did
they
it
There you
fix
go.
it though?
I don't know,
Like, is it all like working now? Cause when we had it like 2 years, 3 years ago, it was not.
yeah, I went to Louisa and I had a lot of problems and a
Yeah.
lot
I
of
was like,
people
"Forget this."
pissed off at me about it.
Yeah.
And then recently I did try again and I sent it to my son, the tester, and he's like, Mom, this is so much harder than, we'll say the other
Yeah.
games.
So it's
Right.
still hard.
Oh,
So that's why, and my son
Why
is
people
very
love-
I mean, he's an adult, he's 28 years old, he's very techie, right? And he was like, not as good as, the Zillow or Redfin or whatever else are going on.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
I hesitate to give it because of that, I haven't.
Right.
And I'm scared, I haven't even set it up, I don't even know
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
not a like.
yeah, I
like,
mean, personally,
too.
I'm fine with whatever the clients consume, because the numbers show that 90% of people will start online somewhere,
Right.
wherever that is, but they'll finish with a realtor. Right? So I'm not gonna stand on a soapbox, and say, everyone should be on KW app. I'm like, hey, if it's there, it's there. At the end of the day, it's like, how are they ending back with us?
Yeah.
And then, hey, we can fail forward with the system. The key to this system is the branding aspect. Like, once they get through all the growing problems, now we're not having to pay Zillow $1,000 a month just to have a branded site, right? This all factors into the $25 a month that we pay in order to cover that, right? Establish your business on social media. We talked about this, the 10-5-1, that's our 10 posts a day, or 10 posts a day, write 5 comments a day, send 1 direct message a day. Some people have turned this into like a business model on its own.
What did you just say, $25 a day, for what?
Did I say 25? Oh, $25 a month.
For what?
That's what our tech fee.
One
No, that's our tech fee for
Yeah.
KW.
Oh, okay.
It comes
out of the 75.
Yeah, of the 75, 25 pays our tech fee.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, $25 a month versus $1,500. I'll take that any day of the week.
Can you just clarify a little on the 10-5-1, the one piece? What is that? I mean,
One direct message.
yeah, because I thought it was before you said post, and I'm thinking like.
Oh, I'm so
post
sorry.
or
Yeah, so the
whatever.
post helps, and then there is a 1 direct message in that day too.
So-
It can,
Okay.
so, but you guys are probably doing it already. I
You
mean, I
just
imagine.
reach out to somebody and someone you don't know that well, for example.
It could be anyone that you want to
On your
reconnect
social
with.
media.
Yeah, on your social media. Yeah, I like going this step further, of the post, because the post will just getting more interaction. And as you like, comment, DM, or post, the post actually helps you bring your algorithm up on Facebook or Instagram too. Because otherwise you're almost like an observer and then you finally post and it's, the interaction will be a little lower.
Yeah.
If you have a couple posts that build up while you're doing all that, it'll kind of bring the hit count a lot higher.
I will say that, you know, I have people hit me up on social media a lot, LinkedIn in particular. But every now and then, somebody sends me a compelling one. That's like the guy who I gave my insurance policies to just recently was a stranger on LinkedIn who hit me up one day and said, you know, just wanted to let you know that I specialize in difficult to place homeowners policies, if that, you know, is helpful to you. And so I thought, oh, that's different. I saved his info and I went back to him a few times for help with things. So I'm thinking now, maybe I need to find a twist or a particular, start sending it out to people I don't know so well and just expand my network a little.
There you go. There you go. That's an awesome way to kind of grow that sphere and interaction. Man, that's exciting. So guys, we're gonna get right into calls. I'm gonna go grab my things. Anyone online, you guys have your phone numbers to call and all that fun stuff? Let's do this.
Just one quick thing, Philip. You
Sure.
can never leave us or you'll have to go into witness protection because we're not letting
That's funny. No, I mean, I after I went through that week of deciding, oh, should I do this, should I do that, it actually dawned on me, I don't want to go anywhere else. I really love Keller Williams in general. I think with what we pay international, that's the franchise, versus what we get out of it. Even if you kicked in naps and you paid $1,000 a month for that and the events, let's say all in, you know, the stuff that doesn't get reimbursed or all in, again, this is all write-off, right? Let's say all in, like it's $20,000 a year commitment from me to KW, right? And another 20 for the cap and all that stuff. Say it's 50,000 on the high end. The 50 allowed me to make 500 last year. The 50 this year will help you make $1.2 million, $1.5 million this year. The 50 next year will allow us, our team, to make $2 million, $2.5 million, right? With no real change in that investment. I mean, maps has been the same cost in the 90s to 2000s till now, right? Where everything else has gone up, it's been the same cost. As our commissions have gone up, as prices have gone up, as we've grown as people, that baseline cost has stayed the same. And they've added, oh, by the way, we're now an actual tech company, right? They're actually invested in AI, they're actually invested in the database, they're invested in all these partnerships. You know, Gary could have retired 10 years ago and said, screw it, I'm gonna actually make the company go public and I'm gonna retire on an island somewhere. And he said, no, I'm gonna take all of this franchise fee and reinvest it back into technology, because this is where the industry is going, right? Where other tech companies aren't really tech companies, they're just a real estate company that has a partnership with an outside vendor to be their tech company support. Keller Williams actually is a tech company that happens to be a coaching and consulting agency that trains people to be the very best they can be in business. The business happens to be real estate. Right? Real estate could have been insurance, it could have been car sales, it could have been whatever. They just happen to be all of that to help ultimately the agents and the consumer. And not just the agent, be a salesman, build a business, run a business, have a business to fund the perfect life, not, you know, have the life to work in the business. It's a swap. And again, it didn't have to be real estate, it could be anything. So I'll get off of that right now. So that was that.
Plus the people in our office and Stephanie's leadership, it's priceless. I've been doing this 17 years. There's no office like our office. Christine and Kurt and Cindy and everybody and all the new people. It's like, yeah. And Louisa, it's just, you can't find that anywhere else.
Okay. On that, I'm gonna stop recording.
Right here.